Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of How I Shoot, the show where we talk about your film production projects shot with Kinefinity cameras. I have with me today Marco Tomaselli from Italy. Hi Marco, welcome to the show. First up, please tell us briefly, how did you get to this line of work? What's your professional background and how did you get started?
I started as a photographer in 2008, and what was a passion at the time, in a couple of years, it became like a career, transitioning from photo to video. Then here in Italy, there was not quite big budgets to work with, so I decided to move to Los Angeles, where actually that opened up the possibility of becoming a cinematographer. So get rid of the editing, directing, and all of it, and just focusing on the photography side of the production. Since then, I started working worldwide as a cinematographer for mostly documentary, but also feature film and music video.
Now, as I remember, you received the Mavo LF just recently and you had to take it on a long shoot right after you got it. Please tell us, what was your process to get to know the camera as quickly as possible?
Yes, I'm a Mavo LF owner since February 2020. And the funny story is actually I bought it exactly 1 week before flying in Las Vegas to start shooting my documentary. I washed my hands in muddy water. So I literally had no time to prep it, no time to test it. All the learning curve was on the field. And I just got a lot of information like before actually buying it. And unfortunately, here in Tuscany, where I live now, there is no many camera system around from Kinefinity where I could, I don't know, rent or test it before. So it was a little bit a jump in the dark. But at the end, I felt I had enough information online to kind of at least take a smaller risk on jumping on a new camera without actually having one before. This is the first time that I own a camera. So actually before I was renting out a different camera for different projects. So I can say that I worked with quite all the brands around, from Arri, Red, Blackmagic, Sonic, you can name it. And the Kinefinity is, I found that out to be, quite the same. The only problem is that you have, if you go shoot right away without actually get friendly with the camera, is just to remember which button does what. But with the time, after a week of shooting, that you start to remember everything, and also be able to operate in a run and gun situation where you need to be fast. All the different things like the electronic ND, or how to change the ISO. Being quite of an intuitive function of the camera itself.
Please tell us, in general, how do you manage to improve your shooting skills? What's your process? What variables are you looking for to improve your own and your camera's performance?
Without having too much time for prepping, I found out that the best thing that I could do to improve my skills, it was just simply to watch the footage at the end of each shooting days. Seems quite of a simple thing, but is quite the only way outside of the rush of the set life, to sit down and just evaluating the actual quality of the camera and the quality of your skills, how you actually approach each scene, if on the technical side, and if everything goes right, perfect. If there is anything to correct, the next days you are there, ready to improve it.
Next up, I would like to know, what other cameras have you been shooting with in the past and how do you compare them to the Mavo LF?
Yes, as I said before, I was lucky to have the chance to work with a lot of different camera systems. And the things that I like the most are mainly two about the Mavo LF. First, I never really found any camera that has such a great capability on low light situation. And in our project, it was actually very precious, this thing, because we were shooting on the underground water drain system, where it's like pitch dark, and with a fast lens and the second base ISO, you can basically see what every other camera is not able to see. And another thing is like as an independent filmmaker to do personal project in an independent situation, time is budget, and find out that the Mavo LF it's so beautiful with a very fast color correction. As a DP is actually a very nice thing because first you most likely will not have an independent in an independent situation the time and the budget to do a proper color correction. At second, it's actually nice to have that safety net that you know that you will have great skin tones and nice color reproduction right away, even if there is not too many hours that you can invest in color correction. So especially with digital color correction, it's quite of a sensitive step of post production for us because you can control so many things, and you want to be sure that that step goes as smoothly as the shooting in order to have the best quality results of your images.
You were shooting during the worst of the outbreak of the coronavirus in the USA. Please tell us a bit about your experience working during this period of time.
Well, in our documentary, I Wash My Hands in Muddy Water, we basically observed the different phases of American society, especially of the city of Las Vegas, on how they approached at the beginning of the pandemic. So definitely was not something easy to shoot, just because you also have to think about safety. So protect yourself, especially in order to protect everybody that it's included in the documentary. So personal protection equipment and distancing and all these kind of things. Those things add to already a stressful situation of just go hunting for stories in a city that is already quite particular in a normal situation. So now you can imagine what happened there at the beginning of the pandemic between people panicking and the run for buying the toilet paper, the guns, and all these kind of crazy things that happened. But at the end of everything, we are quite happy about the results. Another things that I have to mention is that quite of an important things during this time is that just go around with the minimal team as possible. In fact, this documentary was shot by me as a cinematographer and Emanuele Mengotti as a director and sound recordist. So that will help a lot, to go around, because you can limitate a lot the risk of getting the virus, or also spreading the virus to the people that was giving us the time. So yeah, quite of a challenging thing. But at the end of everything, it's quite part of every documentary, I think, has its challenge. Nothing that you cannot go over it.
Now, for my last question, I would like to know, what missing feature would you add to the Mavo LF to make it an even better camera?
Well, like in every camera system, there is always things to improve. On how I use it, so in a guerrilla style documentarist, probably the biggest thing that I will correct, that I know it's already improved in the new camera, is the ND filters, the electronic ND. I found out to be quite of a mechanical process, even if it's like very simple. But if you work in a fast environment, you always need to consider that to remove the ND, you need to take a minute or two in order to exchange the mount. So I will not see this as a problem in a not run and gun situation. So in a commercial music video or in a feature film, you always have the time to do that. But in a documentary situation, this is something that you need to be considering. So I don't see it as a deal breaker, but I'm just glad that in the next camera, in the Edge, the ND is already included in the camera. So you can always switch from 0 ND to ND 0.6 without any kind of problem or any kind of loss in time.
Alright everybody, that's it for our show today. Thank you very much, Marco, for joining us today, and to you out there, see you next time.